And now, it's BoomerLife, lifestyle discussion designed to make your life more engaging, meaningful, and complete. Celebrating the baby boomer generation, this is BoomerLife on CIL 650.
Wake me up before you go. Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. Wake me up before you go. I don't want to miss it when you hit that.
Okay, are you awake now? There's Wham kicking things off for this hour of Boomer Life here on CIL 650. Good morning and welcome to the show. I'm Sterling Fox, joined in studio by the sleep solution experts, Dave Temlett and Terry Harder from Innovative Sleep Solutions in South Surrey, White Rock, back with us on the radio. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Sterling.
Good morning, Sterling.
Terry, good to hear from you as well.
Thank you.
Glad you made it today.
Good to hear.
You were in the neighborhood here in Richmond just last weekend. You were at the Richmond Home and Garden Show. That's the second one of the season. You were in the Coquitlam Show a few weeks before that. How did it go in Richmond last weekend?
Fantastic. I'd say that's the best show that I've ever been in, that we've ever been in, Sterling. And it's not all about instant gratification, but there was a lot of customers that were very interested on this Saturday in our magnet therapy beds. And it's exciting to see customers come to our booth and say, oh, I know you guys. I hear you on the radio. I see your province ads every second Sunday, which, by the way, we'll have a full-page ad in the province tomorrow being Sunday, May the 10th. So you'll see our ad. So it's exciting for people that we're really noticing a difference from the home shows we used to do that nobody had even heard about us to people coming up and right away recognizing our name. So it's exciting that we're spending a lot of investing a lot of good money on advertising, and it's paying dividends that people are now hearing about us, and they're hearing all the different places that we're at, and they're very interested in what we're offering. We've been really pounding it, we'll say, for the last couple of years, and
they want to know which one you are, right?
That's right. They say,
they
"Oh,
see the
are
sign,
you?"
and they go up, they shake your hand, and say, "So, which one are you?"
And then I always say the good-looking one on the right, but then Dave says always the good-looking one on the left. But anyway, that's okay. No, exciting people really know who we are, and they're asking about our magnet therapy beds in particular.
Right.
And right now, our pricing for the next week is frankly unheard of for a top quality specialty bed. Unheard of pricing.
Excellent.
And never will it be as low as it is now.
Well, since you've already opened that door, let's talk about magnet therapy beds. I'm glad that people at the shows are as involved in. Obviously, they've gone to the website, they've had a look around, they've listened to the radio show before, and so they're more than a little curious about magnet beds. And I would imagine in a lot of cases, to both of you, and Dave, I'll let you take this one to lead off with. A lot of people still don't know very much about magnet beds, and they're just really curious because they're becoming more and more popular, so we're starting to feel like, gosh, we should at least know what everyone else is talking about now.
Well, that's very true, and quite honestly, even 2 years ago, before Terry and I started this, I'd never heard of magnet therapy mattresses.
Nor had I.
Well, and I've heard of people that wear them on their wrist, magnets on their wrists, or they put them in different parts of their body. But I really had no idea really what it would do for you. So in the startup phase of our company, we did a lot of research on what brands to bring in, and then not only do we carry Simmons, Sealy, and Serta. And we're really big, probably the largest dealer in South Surrey, White Rock, with Simmons and Serta. We took it a step beyond that, and we do focus on the healthiest products in the marketplace, such as certified organic latex mattresses, and then in addition to that, the magnetic therapy. So the magnetic therapy, I got to tell you, honestly, I kind of rolled my eyes when it was first presented to us. And
well, it sounds kind of new agey,
well,
and
it
kind
does.
of 80s. But all of a sudden, you start paying attention to the research.
Well, and that's what sold it for me.
And there's an awful lot to pay attention to.
There sure is, Sterling. And there's, this is very, very credible. These magnets are the only magnets that are designed specifically for human medical use.
Right.
And they're manufactured in Florida, in the United States. And what they do differently than any other type of a magnet out in the marketplace is that these are kind of, they're called a concentric circle medical magnet. So if you can envision a target from a either a dartboard or an archery target.
You mean like a bullseye?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it's got all the rings around it. So the center has a northern polarity or a positive charge.
All right.
Then there's a space, and then there's another ring around that has the negative polarity or the
negative charge.
Yes, and
so already you've got a magnetic field created by the proximity of negatively and positively charged magnets.
Right, which is creating a magnetic field, which is pushing it upwards in a 3D configuration. So it reaches deeper into the human tissue than any other type of magnet can.
Right.
And it opens up the vascular system, reoxygenating the blood, bringing a fresh supply of reoxygenated blood flow to the applied areas. So what it's phenomenal for doing is it helps to reduce toxins around swelling, inflammation. It reduces the swelling and inflammation, and as a result, and this is where the credibility factor really comes in heavily, in addition to all of the studies that have been done throughout the United States and around the world, they are actually registered as a Class A medical device with both Health Canada and also in the United States with the FDA.
Right.
So it has a lot of credibility. Obviously, it has to work in order to get that designation.
And they are the only such device in both countries to receive that designation as well.
That's
right?
correct, yeah.
Okay, so when people start to do the homework, and I've done my share because I thought it was some kind of spacey thing when I first heard about it, as you did,
Yeah,
Dave.
I sure did.
And I should probably pause for just a quick second here, friends, because we jumped right into the magnet bed and the whole bit with the trade show in Richmond with Terry, and just point out the fact that Dave Temlett and Terry Harder are the sleep solutions experts. We call them that for very good reason. Between these two gentlemen, there are over 50 years of experience in the sleep business. These guys have been around the block a few times. My goodness, Dave even goes back down to Woodward's in Gastown, for crying out loud. That's when you first started.
Back in
Terry,
81.
You've been around the block in the business too. So when you talked about putting your business model together a couple of years ago, when you began Innovative Sleep Solution, it was 50 years of applied experience at that business model meeting wherein the decisions to carry. We'll take this line, and we better try these magnet beds, and we'll try Simmons and Serta. So that meeting and the lines that you chose to carry at Innovative Sleep Solutions are based on a lot of experience and a lot of homework.
Well, that's absolutely right. And what sets us apart different from any other retailer in the marketplace is that we specifically choose products that are made from with Serta Pure foams. So Serta Pure are foams that are made or derived from plant-based oils, not the common petrochemical oils that are out in the marketplace.
Okay.
So every single mattress that's on our showroom floor is Serta Pure. So it's going to have the least amount of off-gassing, either low to no emissions whatsoever. And then in addition to that, we focus on the certified organic latex, which is really the purest latex form available. We do have some Talalay latex. Talalay goes through a manufacturing process that can be up to about 70% synthetic. So the Dunlop latex that is 100% certified organic is really the most dense, best supporting latex in the marketplace.
Okay. So back to the magnet beds, if I might, Terry, when you were at the Richmond Home and Garden Show last weekend, I know, because you told me just was over coffee before we began the program this morning, that a lot of people were curious about magnet beds. I know you sold a couple there, but what were people asking you? Are people still skeptical? Oh, sure, magnet beds. Oh, sure. Or are they well past that and asking even more direct questions?
Well, that's a very good question, Sterling. And oddly enough, I had customers come by the booth that as I'm mentioning magnet therapy, they're the ones that point out to me, you know that magnets, 100 years ago, was very popular. Magnet therapy was a big thing. Things changed through pharmaceutical companies and different things like that came on, but years ago magnet therapy was very popular. And some of the questions that people ask me is, what can this bed do for me that my current bed can't?
Right.
And that's a very valid question. And these are specialty beds, so they offer all the same comfort and support that high-end beds like iComfort, which we carry, by the way. There is a Tempur-Pedic model out there. They offer all the benefits that those high-end beds offer, but then they offer even more with the concentric circle medical registered medical devices,
Right.
patented exclusive design for human medical use. The only magnets that were actually ever designed exclusively for human medical use. And as Dave says, major benefit and the major reason why, and it means a lot to people, because as we age, this is a significant problem, inflammation.
Right.
That is why they're registered medical devices, is that they flush out toxins. They get the blood circulating. It's very important. People have arthritis, fibromyalgia, diabetes, all these different issues. And this, frankly, addresses those needs. And I'll step out and say, there's no bed in the market that offers what magnet beds do for these needs.
All right, now
Absolutely.
this is Boomer Life, so obviously we're talking, and CIL 650 is Vancouver's Boomer radio station. So when we talk about us Boomers, and I'm afraid, friends, all three people you're listening to this morning are card-carrying British Columbia Boomers. But we're talking about ourselves, and we're also talking about our parents. Now, Terry, our crew was in the store down in South Surrey, White Rock a few days ago, and there was a Boomer and her mom going through the sales floor and having a look at various models. Does this happen a lot where we come in and our senior parents are with us and we're shopping maybe for her, maybe for ourselves, maybe for both? Do you see this a fair bit?
In our store, that's a big thing, Sterling, because people know that because again, they've seen our ads, they've heard our radio show. They know that we spend time with the customers.
Sure.
We're not just jamming them in. We're actually taking the time to ask important questions for the consumer's needs, and we actually have products that can address those needs. People recognize that, although these people thought we were no longer in business, oddly enough, and just drove by, seen our sandwich board out on the boulevard, or pardon me, out in the parking lot, and thought they'd come in because they had a good experience from when a lady and man had owned the store for about 26 years, and they were coming back for us to give them that experience again, and we did.
Oh, good.
So it's exciting that, like you said, tomorrow being Mother's Day, very good time to come out. You may not decide to do it right away, although I'm not sure why you'd want to hesitate. We all know he who hesitates loses, and especially right now with our magnet beds, you can sleep on a top-of-the-line mattress for $10 a month for the next 20 years.
My goodness. And Dave, you sleep on one of those too.
Sure.
Once you learned about it, and you and Terry decided, well, we'll carry this line. We'll give it a shot. Nobody else in British Columbia, period, is doing it. So why not? Why not be at the tip of the spear? And so you brought some models in, and you did more homework, and by goodness, you ended up buying one yourself, and you've enjoying it now. Well, you got a queen, right?
Yeah, we have a queen size, yeah. My wife and I are cuddlers, so for us a king size bed, although our master bedroom is right over our double garage, it would certainly take a king size. But we ended up with a queen, and the reason we bought the magnet bed, Sterling, was because my wife has arthritis in her hips and her shoulder,
Right.
and she laid on the store floor model and just loved the feel of the bed. And then when she was laying there for about 15 minutes or so, she could actually start to feel a little bit of a sensation of warming, and that was the blood flow increasing. She gets a lot of migraine headaches, so she's also got some of the magnetic.
The headbands?
That she has a headband, and
Right.
she wears an eye mask for it when they get really bad.
Right.
And it really does help, but it's to the point with my wife where she's actually had to have Botox injections for her migraines. So it really makes a big difference. When they really do flare up, the magnetic therapy really does make a difference.
And for the arthritis, with that warming sensation that she talked about shortly after trying it out for the first time.
That's the blood
that's
circulating.
Still there, right?
That's right. Yes, it is. Now, you get used to it very quickly, so don't get the wrong impression that you're going to sleep very hot or warm on the bed, because you don't. It's just, at first, it feels like a slight warming sensation. You really do get used to it very quickly.
And Terry, you have one as well, don't you?
Absolutely, and there's no doubt it's the best bed that I've ever slept on. I really miss it when I go to a hotel or a friend's bed. I don't have near the quality of the sleep. I really do get a lot of improvements. In fact, I notice more pain with my foot injury when I sleep somewhere else. I do get the benefit of that circulation.
Right.
Of course, not to mention the adjustable bed I have at home helps too. But at the same time, I mean, literally, there's the bed, what it does for me, there's no other bed in the market that can do that. And I would suggest for our listeners, it's the same thing. Come and try this. I mean, that was for a king, I said $10 a month. So it's even less than that for a queen. We've had tremendous value.
And back to that Richmond Home and Garden Show last weekend, I was asking because you were telling me that people were really curious about the magnet beds. What sort of questions were they asking, Terry? What do they want to know?
Well, they just, as I mentioned earlier, they wanted to know how this bed is different from their bed, what it can do for them, what experiences other people that have slept on it have. Very good questions. I mean, on Saturday, I never sat down. I was talking about magnet beds all day, which really helps me because I get to talk to multiple people and hear their objections. I mean, yes, you get the odd person that's a little bit skeptical, but I had one customer that was skeptical that actually laid on the bed for a while, and he said, you know what? I actually feel the circulation. And I said, I'm not surprised if you lay on the bed for about 20 minutes. You're going to start to feel your blood circulating.
As was the case with Dave's wife when she first
absolutely.
Right.
It's not hokey. It works. I mean, if you can believe that a tiny little pill can work, why not believe that a fairly small but significant concentric circle medical magnet, why can't that do?
Well, it's an interesting...
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's interesting that you point out that 100 years ago, magnet therapy was very popular, and then over time in the last century has become less so because perhaps the makers of those little pills, many of which are sleeping pills, would prefer that we took sleeping pills instead of looked at other mattress options like magnetic therapy beds. So you can see the pressure of Big Pharma fighting against Big Sleep, and for at least the better part of 100 years, they've won a round or two, but now it's time for magnet beds to step out front, Dave, and take a few well-landed punches of their own.
Well, you know, there's three different models that we carry. There's a firm, a medium firm, and a plush. And the magnet beds that we carry, you know, if you lump them all into one category, it's our second best-selling line.
Interesting. I'm not surprised.
And our best-selling line would be the 100% certified organic latex.
And we'll talk more about that. We're talking now with the sleep solution experts, Dave Temlett and Terry Harder from Innovative Sleep Solutions at 3033 King George Boulevard down there in South Surrey, White Rock. I'm Sterling Fox. This is Boomer Life on CIL 650. Nice to have you with us today. Lots more still ahead after this.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CIL 650.